Sabanya, the circle of life.
I know you got. When first we arrived on this planet.
Okay, my bad.
Something I forget the lyrics.
And then the circle of life.
What to do? They can never be done.
True. Anyway, hi.
Hello. I hate that. I actually hate that.
What was the most recent thing that happened?
So people went missing this morning,
Oh, yeah, this is,
and
people disappeared. Yeah.
yeah. Did I save? Hold on. I think okay. I think this is where we last left off. But yeah, so people went missing. And we were at like a shed for a bit that had a supposedly in blood, like a sigil.
Bloody demonic sigil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same one
right.
that was on Natrahi's door at the start of the morning. So Goda isn't here.
Oh yeah. With the same like paint or material.
Yeah, so Goda is gone. Shannon is gone. So is other people, but I don't remember who. Oh, I think Battler's dad's gone too.
Yeah, mostly the adults are missing, right?
Yeah, and I like how Battler's dad also he said like I'm probably gonna die.
Yeah, he did say that. Hi, Nix. Hi, Nix. Bye, Nix. Have good EPs.
Open that can. Okay.
That's so real.
Can
But yeah, that's what happened, and now we're in the kids' perspective, me guess.
Okay.
Back to the children.
Back to the chillin'.
All right, are we just getting right into it then?
I guess so.
Okay. Okay, so this is Battler, right? Not third-person guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks to a kids program they came across, Maria was feeling much better.
Wait.
We guys...
Oh, it is the.
This is so classic.
Every stream, baby.
Every time it happens, every time. Battler and Jessica were poking fun at the kids' show at every turn, cackling together. George was enjoying the program with Maria from her perspective. Nanjo sat on a sofa by himself, passing the time reading quietly. They heard hurried footsteps coming from the hallway. They were the footsteps of a single person. Did that mean it wasn't the group of 4 that had just left? Oh! It was Genji.
Oh my god.
It was very rare for Genji, who can when he left.
No, he was just like, oh my god.
It was Genji. It was very rare for Genji, who considered being out of breath a violation of the servant's virtues, to be gasping for air. He had probably come dashing back from outside the mansion. His shoulders were soaking wet, and he didn't have his usual trim appearance. When Genji noticed Nanjo looking at him, he gave a small silent bow and quickly approached him.
Dr. Nanjo, my apologies. Please come with me, quickly.
What is the matter?
I'm whispering right now. I'm whispering your secret. You're hearing my secret right now.
Nanjo's not. He went pale. He's all weirded out by what he heard. As Genji went pale, he rose from the sofa, trying not to be noticed by the children who were still engrossed by the TV. And the two of them rapidly left the parlor, muffling their footsteps. Just as they were about to exit the parlor, they came across Natsuhi, who was pushing a serving cart loaded with a tea set. Genji
I'm
whispered something
whispering, I'm
into
whispering
Natsuhi's
again.
ear, and Natsuhi went pale too, in apparent shock. Then, leaving the serving cart where it was, the three of them dashed towards the entrance.
Oh boy.
George noticed them running down the rose garden through the window. Hey, they're running through the rose garden. I saw it from out the window.
Wow.
Isn't that Genji-san and Dr. Nanjo? And that's not Natsuhi, isn't it?
What's up, Aniki?
Maybe something happened. They look terribly flustered. When Jessica and Maria saw that Eva, Hideyoshi, and Nanjo were no longer in their seats, that the serving cart had been abandoned in the entrance to the parlor, they also realized that something was the matter.
Could there have been some kind of accident?
Let's go check it out. It's no fun if we're the only ones left out, right?
For some reason, what Batlet said sounded extremely indecent. Indiscreet?
Indecent.
Indiscreet.
Indecent.
Indiscreet. But they couldn't deny that they were a little insecure? Okay.
Yeah.
And concerned after seeing the adults run off into the rain without regards to their appearance.
Let's check it out, okay? I'm worried something might have happened.
Jessica's uneasy words. Jesus.
My bad. You got.
Hey, Maria, are you coming too? Or will you watch TV?
Wanna watch TV?
Let's go on without her. Maria-chan, we'll be back soon. You keep watching TV, okay? By the time... I can't...
Mommy
hold
made
on,
me
I need to
mad
drink
my
some water.
M&M. Mommy made me mad my M&M.
I forgot that I just ate.
Real. Gotta open your vocal cords back up.
Nah.
Oh, real! Rhyme,
Neat.
rhyme.
New York.
And then,
It works.
yeah!
It opens everything up. By the time the kid... Come on. Okay.
Whoa.
By the time the kids made it outside, the adults were no longer in sight. But Jessica seemed to have a pretty good idea where they'd gone, judging by the direction they'd been running. Following Jessica, we ran through the rain-soaked garden. Oh, it's back
What?
to battling now.
What? What?
Oh, really? Okay.
It said we. It said we.
Okay. The wind seemed to suddenly get stronger. The malicious sound of thunder began to ring out like it had the previous night. It felt like an eerie something had surrounded the island and was trying to stop us from moving forward.
See, it switched. I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate
it's
when it
so
does that.
weird.
Yeah.
So weird.
Jessica, is there something over this way?
I'm pretty sure there's a storehouse for gardening tools or something.
What in the world could be going on in a place like that?
Dude, this is the mod, Adam. This is the mod.
Dang. Yeah, now it's back to third person.
Just as Jessica had said, they began to see a storehouse in front of them. They could also see the adults there. The shutter to the storehouse was open, and several adults looked as though they were searching for something. For some reason, only Natsuhi was outside the storehouse, without even holding an umbrella. She looked like she was hanging her head and was back facing them. And her back was facing them. Dear Lord. There was Genji, Nanjo, and Natsuhi, who had just left the mansion. The ones who had left earlier, Kanon, Eva, and Hideyoshi, were also there for a small crowd, making for a small crowd of people. but there was absolutely no bustle of activity.
Oh, they opened the shed.
Oh, wow.
When Natsuhi realized that the children were approaching, a terrible expression rose to her face, and she ran at them with her arms spread wide. What a bitch.
You mustn't come any closer! Go back to the mansion!
But despite that, no. Because of that, the kids saw the scene Natsuhi was trying to keep away from. Keep them away from. Inside the storehouse, with its shutter wide open, a faint fluorescent light shone down. And right there was...
Yeah! Oh my god!
Jessica's piercing shriek rang out. But that was just because Jessica's scream was the loudest. The same thing spilled out of Badler and George's mouths as well. Ava spread her arms just like Natsuhi, roaring at the kids with a bone-chilling expression on her face.
George, take everyone and return to the mansion! Quickly! Right now!
When Natsuhi spread her arms, I thought she was trying to prevent us
Oh,
from
wait.
advancing in- Wait, uh-oh.
Now it's
It's a
Badler.
That's Badler.
I'm just looking
the-
for us and I.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just never gonna get over it.
yeah.
Alright.
It do be happening.
When Natsuki spread her arms, I felt she was trying to prevent us from advancing any further.
Could you move your mic closer to your mouth, please? Thank you. I just have to. I keep messing with your audio levels because it's. I'm like, ooh,
Is that better?
yeah,
Am I close enough?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the music hit.
Yeah, it's hidden.
Oh yeah, this is good. But that wasn't why Ava was spreading her arms right now.
Okay, I'm joking. It's not good. Do you have noise suppression turned on?
No, I did. I never change anything when we do this.
That's so weird. Because your
Do you have
voice.
them turned up on Discord? Because I turned them up a little on Discord.
I have them turned all the way up.
Huh.
So,
Is your output settings on Discord super low?
let me see. Because I don't think they are.
It might be.
La la la, la la la. Listen to this epic music.
Yeah, your output volume? How's your
Oh,
Is
yeah.
this helping at all?
Oh, it's yeah. My output volume was
Yeah, I have my output volume for Discord cranked.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You speak now, fellows.
Hello, hello, hello. Is this better? Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Ah!
Ah.
Yeah?
Okay.
I don't know what's happening.
Okay. Okay. We're good now.
I
Okay,
figured it
everything
had
is
to be
good?
something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we're good
Because
now.
I can always hear any decently clearly.
Yeah. My bad.
Okay.
Carry on.
Mystery solved.
Keep going, keep going. She was trying to stop us kids from seeing that terrible scene. It was her mother's heart, trying to protect the eyes and hearts of us children by blocking our view of that terrible scene by at least the width of one of her arms. Is this some kind of joke? Is it? I'd seen this kind of cheap scene all too often. In manga, TV, anime, and movies, I'd seen it over and over again. This was just seeing something appear in real life that I'd seen plenty of times before in some of those more sensational movies, right? That alone shouldn't... That suit... It's that old bastard's, isn't it? I get it. And that's Uncle Kraus. And Kirei-san and that Rosa. Ah!
Dad! Dad!
Help me, guys, please die.
You mustn't, Jessica! You mustn't go in! You mustn't look! Dad! Dad! Rigor mortis has set in across almost the entire body. Most likely, 6 hours or more have passed since death. As far as I can tell by looking at the damaged area, there is a high probability that they were damaged after their deaths. No, I must watch what I say. I'm a general practitioner. Examining corpses is outside my area of expertise.
So what does that mean? Just killing them wasn't enough, so they went on to do something like this? The devil. This here's the work of the devil!
It's better.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, because it says George Aniki
Oh, yeah,
on
yeah,
Ava,
yeah.
not just Ava.
And Natsuki caught Jessica in the wrongs that Ava caught George Aniki. So I was the only one who could approach the entrance to the storehouse. If only there had been someone there to catch me, too. I wouldn't have needed to have this horrible, evil scene burned into my eyes. No, that's not it. It isn't that there's no one here to catch me. The people who should catch me, they're right there, aren't they? Just as Jessica said, it did look like a storehouse for gardening tools. A lawnmower with extra blades, a grass sickle, and a hammer. Some carpentry tools such as a saw. Piled up potted plants and bags of fertilizer.
Oh, he's tisming.
And treated just the same, the corpses of several people had been laid to rest here. No, had been tossed in there. I could tell them by their clothes. That old bastard and Kyrie-san, Uncle Kraus, and Aunt Rosa. Beyond that, Oda-san and... Are there still more of them? How many people died? You're fucking kidding me! I can't even count on them on one hand! Damn it! I didn't know whether it had been one of those gardening tools, which if used for something other than their intended purpose could definitely be wielded with a naked brutality, or whether some horrible tool had been brought in here specifically for this. Anyway, each one of the bodies jammed in here had been given an atrocious makeup. It wasn't makeup, it was more like... their faces had been plowed! Their faces were smashed, forced into expressions that normal people couldn't make after death. I couldn't tell where the eyes or the noses were, but I found their mouths, because they were gaping wide, their gums exposed. But their front teeth were missing, and even the cheeks that should have covered all this were all torn up and laid bare. That trendy makeup you always spent so much time on, even though you're a man, isn't doing a thing now! Ah! Dad! I always thought you were going to hell! But still, not like this, right? You weren't such a son of a bitch that you should have to suffer so brutally! And Kyrie-san, didn't I tell you to stop going out with this guy? There's absolutely no reason for you to end up like this, too.
Aww.
You've got no faces. No faces. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Ah!
Battle-son, you mustn't look anymore. There's no way your mother and father would want you to see them like this. For your mother and your father's sakes, you mustn't look anymore.
Dead people are supposed to have faces that look like they're sleeping peacefully, right? They've got no faces. My dad and Kyrie-san have no faces! I don't even know what kind of faces they were wearing when they died. What's wrong with me? Will I have to see these smashed monster-like faces every time I remember them? That's just great. I didn't want to remember that old bastard smug face anyway! Just great! Just great! But why even Kyrie-san's face? Kyrie-san wasn't a crook. Sure, she ticked me off a bit now and then, but she was like a cool big sister to me. This is wrong. This is all wrong! At least Uncle Kraus has it better, doesn't he? It's not his whole face, just the side. At least he's got half his face left, right? That's still better? Still better?
Jesus Christ.
Everybody's, certifiably losing their shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's valid, you know?
Yeah, so what, we got triple homicide, all of the parents got whacked?
Well, everyone except George's.
Right.
Good job, George!
Good job.
Yippee!
Surviving family branch. Jessica filled her ears with the sound of her own screams.
It's because George and the maid are next.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah. It's George. Speaking of.
Stop it, Batlerkin! Just stop it! Just stop it!
Honey key! Disregarding age and appearance, I fell to my knees, clinging to Aniki's waist and sobbing. It was as if I was crying on behalf of everyone there. Representing the feelings of everyone there, I screamed over and over.
Wow.
Everybody died! Everybody died! Oh wait, hold on, it didn't work.
Bud!
Why isn't my button isn't working?
No, the Beatrice button!
Wow.
Father, the ones lying over there are Uncle Kraus, Uncle Rudolph, Aunt Kyrie, Aunt Rosa, and Gora-san. Just those 5, right?
No, there are 6 people. There's one more person over here.
Oh my god, dude. I really need some water.
Is this Battler or third person?
I'm gonna assume it's Bawa.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
The body Hideyoshi was looking down on now happened to be hidden among the shadows in that mountain range of objects. In a blind spot to George, who had stood by the entrance. So George couldn't tell whose body it was. So George cursed himself. He cursed the fact that his worst guesses always turned out to be right.
Now you're sounding like you're muffled?
Dude, what?
Are you sure you don't got anything on your Mikey on Discord?
I mean, what I have, I can literally check it right now.
The green wobbly lines next to the hang up button.
Yeah.
Do you have crisp on or off? Is it green or is it grayed out?
The one that says crisp?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Because when you go to voice and video in your account settings, that's what he's talking about.
Oh, that.
Well, you could also turn it on and off. Well, at least mine is right next to my hang up button.
The more advanced options are in voice and video. You want to turn off echo cancellation and noise suppression, and automatic gain control. Yada 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 yada. Really?
Oh, I don't have echo cancellation on. I need to turn that off as well.
Yippee!
Oh, just put it on none. There we go.
Yippee!
There we go. Noise suppression, and then you said crisp?
Yeah, and automatic gain control too. Yeah, there's that
Turn
shit,
it off?
Adam. Yeah, turn off.
Okay, how's that?
I mean, I can't tell from just you talking there, but if it's off, it should be better.
Okay. Well, you said I sounded muffled before, so...
Yeah, because that was probably the... Well, I mean, you don't sound muffled anymore, but that was probably the automatic gain trying to...
Okay.
Yeah, so you should be good now.
Oh, hold on. Is my audio going weird now?
I definitely hear your background noise.
What's my background noise?
Like, I know, like air.
Ah, thanks.
Because
Cool.
it goes brrrr. Now I don't hear it.
Okay, there we go.
Yay!
That better?
Yeah, much better. Yay!
Okay, we
Yay,
fix.
we fix.
More fish.
Yay, okay. Now we go to the night thing.
Okay.
Yay.
Wow.
So the one lying at your feet is Shannon, isn't it?
Yes, it's Shannon Chan.
No!
No, they freaking killed my hot maid that I was going to marry.
No!
George fell completely silent. He shook slightly, his lower lip trembling. Normally, he would have wanted to run to his beloved's body, screaming and crying. It switched perspective, didn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Normally,
This makes me so mad every single time.
before rashly running forward, he worked to keep his composure and ask his father. Is Shannon the same as Uncle Kraus and the others? Hideyoshi deeply understood the meaning of those, so he couldn't give George an immediate answer. Or rather, he felt that silence was the only sincere and loving response he could give George right now. When George asked if Shannon was the same, he meant to ask whether her corpse was in the same condition as the others or not. Since Hideyoshi hadn't denied it, it meant her corpse was in the same brutal state. Can I look at Shannon?
No, you can't.
Why not? After all, I won't be able to see Shannon's face again, right? So why won't you let me see what her face looked like at the end?
The last time you met Shannon Chan was yesterday, right?
Yes.
I see. When you left her, what kind of face was she showing you?
It was a wonderful smile. After he handed her the ring, she hesitated, even though she must have already made up her mind. Then she looked bashful, and ran away because she was embarrassed to let him see her face looking like. That's the expression that was revived in George's mind.
I see. And I'm sure Shannon Chan would want to leave you with that smile in your memory.
Hideyoshi looked down upon Shannon's body lying at his feet. Just like the other bodies, it was in such a horrible state that it would make anyone want to cover their eyes. Her head had been smashed in from the side, and no more than half of her expression remained. If the remaining blood-soaked half of her expression had been wiped clean, would that graceful smile of hers have peeked out? But only half of it. Without thinking, Hideyoshi slapped his hands over his eyes. Brutal. If her face was going to be crushed anyway, then if only all of it had been crushed, might have been able to temporarily distract George from his pain by shaking the pathetic suggestion that it was someone else wearing Shannon's clothes. But half of her face had been left untouched. It caused the body so much humiliation, while still proving beyond doubt that the body was Shannon's, and no one else. How inhumane. How brutish. And there, trying his best to burn the image of the remaining half of Shannon's expression into his eyes, lay at Hideyoshi's feet, was Cannon. Cannon was not crying. Tears had risen to his eyes, but they did not drip down. But that didn't mean he wasn't feeling as much sadness as everyone else. Losing Shannon, who had lived with him the same orphanage, whom he'd loved as a sister. Must have been just the same as losing a blood relative.
George, I'm sure Shannon Shan is saying thank you. She must be glad you didn't end up seeing her in such a pitiful state. I'm sure she's thanking you for holding strong and showing restraint.
I understand. I understand, Father. I understand. George leaned against the outside wall of the warehouse, crouching down limply. Father, I have a request.
What is it?
I want you to look for me. Is there a ring on Shannon's finger?
A ring? Let me see.
Hideyoshi crouched down. Well, fucking actual... Whoa, this is cool art.
Yeah.
As he did, Cannon silently pointed to one of Shannon's hands.
Yeah, there is. It's a diamond ring. With a valuable diamond. Must have been pretty expensive.
And which hand and which finger is it on?
The ring finger of her left hand. I see. So Shannon Shan was engaged.
George, don't tell me you...
Ava, that doesn't matter now. A man made a lifelong promise to Shannon Shan. A man promised her happiness for life. Who that man was isn't the issue here. Being told that by a man is a woman's dream, isn't it? I don't know when she received this ring. I also don't know who gave it to her. However, even so, Shannon Shan took this ring. Then, she accepted it and put it on her left ring finger. I'm sure the man who gave it to her was also happy.
To most of the people there, Hideyoshi was simply disturbed by this extraordinary situation and was blurting out nonsense. However, someone who knew of George's and Shannon's true relationship would understand the full meaning of those words. I see. Thank you, Father. George stood up. The traces of tears still streaked on his face, but his expression had returned to its usual calm tone. Let's go, Battler-kun. Jessica-chan. If we stay here any longer, we'll get in the way of the help.
You're right.
Jessica sniffed once, showing her face to her mother, who had been holding her the whole time, to let her know she was okay now. When she faced George again, she once again had on her usual expression, although she still could smile.
Battler, hang in there.
Battler kept crouching in front of his parents.
I'm sorry. Crying like hell calmed me down. You bastard, Dad. I bet you're laughing at me. After all that shit I talked about you, here I am crying like a baby just because you died. Well, so what? I guess I just got the gene that makes you cry when your parents kick the bucket.
Battler's face was still bright red from the tears, but he had at least recovered enough to fake a smile, if only a bitter one.
Cannon, you mustn't remain here any longer either. Take the children and return to the mansion.
if you own an island, aren't you required to have some sort of like emergency boat or something?
I mean,
Or like a fucking.
it wouldn't even work because they're in a typhoon.
I guess that's true.
Like
Yeah.
they die if they did that.
First off, they're near a massive landmass.
It's
Second off,
1984.
what do you mean? They'd have a satellite phone. They'd still have a satellite phone.
Don't you remember they tried the satellite phone on the island?
You
It
don't
didn't
know
work?
how satellites work.
What do you mean they cut off the fucking power? They cut off the fucking landline.
You're legally required to have a satellite phone. If you have a structure on an island, it's law. And Japan is anal about that shit, so even they'd have that law.
I get it. Tensions are running high. Jessica's
Yeah.
dead. Everyone's dead. We need you, Shane. We need you. Get back. Get back in.
Natsuki had been standing out in the rain this whole time, unable to take a step into the store. Maybe she had her own way of grieving, different from Bad. Realizing that she had to take on a role of responsibility now that her husband was dead, she gave Cannon those orders.
Yes, madam.
Oh.
Cannon rose.
Oh, now it's it was.
No. It just changed. It just
Yeah.
changed.
His face was pure white, almost as though his own heart had died along with Shannon. And there was no life in his expression. On an ordinary day, if he had been told to guide the children through the beautiful rose garden, Cannon might have led the way. But now, there was no distinction between Cannon and the children. They were now just kids of about the same age, suffering the pain of losing those close to them. After making sure that the children were leaving, Natsuki started giving orders to Genji.
Oh, I think now it's I
Yeah.
think it switched back again.
Abda.
And contact the police immediately. They probably won't be able to come until the typhoon passes, but they should be able to tell us what to do next.
Understood. There's an emergency radio, so I will use that to contact them.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm.
You gotta wait, Shane!
Yeah, but it's not true about the police. They'd send a friggin' helicopter.
In a typhoon?
Yeah,
Okay.
as long as it's not like right at the edge of the just big storm at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, they have boats for that. Anyway. When she heard that, Natsuhi remembered. Oh, well, no, okay. That's right, the phones were out today, weren't they? However, they also had a radio since they couldn't necessarily rely on phones all the time when living on an isolated island. At any rate, they should start by contacting the police and receiving their instructions. Everything else could wait.
Dr. Nanja, is there anything more you can do here?
No!
Probably not. Can you alive them?
There's nothing I can do.
I haven't re-skinned anybody recently, no, you fucking flipping bitch.
Understood. Genji, could you at least cover their faces with something? Exposing them like this is humiliating them as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Genji picked up several dried up towels from inside the storehouse and proceeded to fuck with a crime scene like a goddamn idiot when Ava stopped him with a shrill voice.
Wait a second! Stop! I heard him saying stop in my brain!
Thank you! Thank you!
This is the scene of the crime, isn't it? Like CorporalCanada just said?
She might be a cunt, but she's the smartest of all of them.
That's true. Then we mustn't disturb it. We all panicked and walked in here with our shoes on. But even that will surely get in the way of the police investigation, right?
Natsuhi glared. I forgot I was narrating. Natsuhi glared at Ava, offended.
Oh, room.
Objectively speaking, Ava was right, and there's cars. Even so, she glared at Ava as though accusing her of refusing to do those tragic corpses which had been humiliated after death. The simple kindness of covering their faces. However, Ava had spoken both calmly and correctly. Well, it wasn't delivered calmly. This horrible situation wasn't an accident. Crime. Someone had killed them. It was a murder case. So they needed to be careful to avoid disturbing the site any further. Thank you. Hold on, let me close.
What?
Closing my window.
Goodbye,
Closing the
window. No sneaking in for anybody. No.
And also my neighbors are beeping and shit.
No neighbors
Beep, beep,
beeping.
And also I can yell. Okay.
Yay!
They had to do with what little they could to aid the police, preserving the clues that might catch the detestable culprit. I think we're beyond detestable. Narrator dude.
I agree with Eva-san. Until the police come, we should leave everything be.
What do you say, madam?
You're right. Very well. Close it up. And just in case, you should put a different lock on it.
A different lock?
Yes. When we came here, the shutter was locked. That means the culprit used the key to the shutter to lock it.
That makes sense. So, does that mean the key that opens this shutter will have the culprit's fingerprints on it?
I'm sure it'll be worth submitting it to the police as evidence, but Kanan-kun usually has it, and he used it to unlock the shed just now. It'll probably have Kanan's fingerprints on it. Also, that key was handed to Genji-san just now, and he took it with bare hands. It doesn't look like it'll be very useful as evidence.
That was careless of me. My apologies. Genji-san, are there any other keys to this storehouse? No, only this one. So the culprit walked out of the servant room with that key, and then was nice enough to return the key to where he found it?
Hideyoshi's theory sounded plausible, but was actually very strange if you thought about it. Why
I
would
think
they
it's
go
just
through
strange
all the
inherently,
trouble
to be
of
honest.
returning a key they stole? No, if you think about it even more deeply, there are some points that are even more bizarre. When a criminal hides a body, they're usually trying to delay the point in which it'll be found, so that they can use that time to escape. The 6 weren't necessarily killed here, but it was reasonable to assume they were killed somewhere on this island. Oh, really? Carried to the storehouse and hidden to delay the discovery of the crime. And yet, the eerie magic circle scribbled on the storehouse shutter had eloquently indicated the location of the hidden corpses. Sure, it didn't explicitly mention the corpses, but 6 people had gone missing. In that situation, someone had made such an obvious piece of graffiti and even returned to this...
Sorry, it's
almost
so
as
weird.
though they wanted the corpses here to be discovered.
It's so weird how they format it sometimes. Like, I don't know if it's gonna go, like, under it or, like, the next one.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can't put all of our faith in a lock that the culprit has opened once before. If we want to protect this place from the culprit's hand, I think we should put a new lock on it. I think that is a good plan. I agree.
Genji fished around the inside of the store box and unsealed a brand new padlock that had been inside a small box.
What should I do with the key?
I
Swallow
will
it.
take it. I will take responsibility and hand it over to the police.
Natsuhi took the key to the padlock from Genji's hand. And after that, they all exited and lowered the shutter, not realizing that the shutter does not use a padlock system. And so the corpses were once again sealed behind that shutter, which was still covered with that creepy magic circle. Genji crouched down in front of the shutter to fasten the new padlock. In addition to the main lock of the shutter.
What?
Oh, okay, well. This was one of those times. Okay, thank you. He keeps explaining things right after I point out. Like, oh,
It's like, read the story!
Fucking, I don't know. Maybe instead of reiterating yourself 15 times, explain things as they happen.
Real. Tell it like it is.
In the midst of the roar of the thunder and the pouring rain, the storehouse stood there, ominous. With its closed shutter still covered in a blood-like creepy substance, it swallowed up the bodies of the saints. To Natsuhi putting the new lock on wasn't mainly to preserve the scene for the police. She might have felt like she wanted to shut that mouth for all eternity. To prevent that eerie beast from swallowing up any more victims.
Come on, everyone. Oh, come on. Let's go, everyone. Dr. Nanjo, thank you very much for your work. Genji, hurry and contact the police.
I will do so as I return.
The adults left the store.
Not gonna lie, bro. I don't fucking trust Genji.
Yeah, why Genji?
Because I feel like, you know, the key is a thing that's normally passed around via the servants. He was already kind of cool with Kinzo. And he knows that anybody can win the fortune, or with whatever the fuck's about to go down. Plus, he was he's like, oh, I conveniently tampered the evidence on accident.
But he said he was sorry.
Yeah, he's so sorry.
He said he was sorry.
The ghastly magic circle drawn on the shutter kept the 6 bodies in its throat, looming eerily as the light occasionally lit it up. Boom shakalaka.
Oh, that was perfectly timed. Boom shakalaka. Are we shakalakaing right now, guys?
I don't know.
I'm shakalakaing.
I don't know what that means.
I'm shackling all over my laka.
Okay, dude.
Yeah.
That's a little gross. Why would you be doing that on stream?
Liberals. God damn it.
Wow.
Okay, who is it? Do we know?
It's third person, duh.
Okay.
All that
Go,
could be
yeah,
heard
duh,
was
my
the
bad.
sound
Duh.
of the rain, the voices from the kids' TV program, Maria and was watching, and the engrossed Maria's cackling voice. In other words, what greeted them as they returned dumbfounded from that horrible, bizarre scene was the voice of Maria as she rolled around laughing at the TV.
Oh, she is watching Coco Melon. Oh, God.
Wow.
Those who returned to the room didn't know how to explain to Maria that her mother was dead, and were trapped by a suffocating silence. Oh, fuck. At first, Maria returned their stares with a dubious look. But when she realized they weren't trying to blame her for anything, she ignored them and, again, immersed herself in the TV program. The children wordlessly sat down heavily on the sofa. That broke my brain for a second. Their minds were probably blank from their state of shock. Everyone had already cried and mourned so much, but now they just vaguely sat there, their faces seeming to have lost all emotion. Only Kanan had returned to his usual calm expression. However, that probably didn't mean he'd been able to wipe out the shock. Nothing was reflected in his eyes as he stared into empty space. Hideyoshi kept on fidgeting, and every time he remembered that horrible scene, he started muttering about how he couldn't believe it, how it couldn't have been something from this world, how it must have been a work of demons. Every now and then, his mutterings produced a question directed at Nanjo. But the latter kept repeating in a calm, doctor-like manner that nothing could be understood by only glancing at the scene, and that until the police arrived, they wouldn't learn anything. However, Nanjo appeared calm next to Hideyoshi, who simply couldn't suppress his agitation and fear. Wait, the bodies did the bodies mention the servant dude?
Huh? Yeah, they mentioned Goda.
Goda? Okay,
Yeah.
so they did mention Goda. Okay. He's like, because he went missing too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he was the other servant guy, right? The newer one?
Yeah.
the cook.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know. That's another point in the Genji category. Either that or he's I don't know. He's just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
In fact, Nanjo had also received a huge shock, and his face was deathly pale. Maybe that atmosphere is why she tried to rise to the challenge and take charge. Natsuhi appeared to be unchanged from her normal attitude, and she briskly gave directions.
I will go see father. Genji, quickly contact the police, like I've told you like 3 times. Like, what the fuck?
Certainly, yes. I don't know.
I wonder if you...
Busy.
Shh.
She like puts a little finger on his lips like, shh.
I wonder if you would allow me to tag along, Natsuhine-san. Since Kraus-Nissan is now gone, the task of aiding father has been left to me. It would be improper of me to relax here while relying entirely on you.
Natsuhi was struck speechless by Ava's aggressive move in a situation like this. She seemed to be claiming that with Kraus dead, the one to take responsibility shouldn't be his wife, but herself, the next highly ranked in the family. It's not like we didn't spend the first half of the whole thing developing these family dynamics. Or maybe she hadn't been happy at all when Natsuhi took command without reference to her in such an extreme situation. However, even Ava's mind had been blank from shock until a moment ago. She only came to her senses after Natsuhi started giving orders.
Just do as you like.
Natsuhi started walking without saying a word. Ava followed behind her.
Oh!
As they did, Kumasawa ran into the parlor. She usually wasn't the kind of person to run around so under normal conditions. Most people would have taken her entrance as a sign that something was the matter. But because everyone was still stricken with shock, they hardly even noticed it.
Madam. Madam!
If you're looking for Natsuhine-san, she went to see father. She'll probably be back soon. What happened, Kumasawa-san?
You see, in the dining hall there was blood! Blood!
The ears of everyone in the parlor twitched. Everyone thought the same thing. I hope I misheard that. Any container can only hold so much, and no one here would be capable of handling yet another trap. So they all fought. I hope I misheard that.
No, it's so blurry. It's so blurry.
What?
Okay, we're good. We're good.
What happened in the dining hall?
When I went to the dining hall to set up for breakfast.
Okay.
The first one to start running was George. His harsh footsteps jogged Hideyoshi and Nanjo to their senses, and they chased after. Battler and the others followed. No one thought to stop Maria. Okay.
Nope.
They flew into the dining
It's
hall,
not.
one after another, but didn't find any change that might have caused Kumasawa to go pale. To those who had viewed the gruesome scene in the storehouse, it was a bit of an anticlimax. However, Kumasawa, who had followed them, pointed it out. There really were some traces of blood remaining on the floor. Compared to that terrible scene, it wasn't very impressive. However, if you calmly thought about it, this definitely indicated the loss of a lot of blood. Okay, hold on. Can we take a moment here real quick? I need to use the restroom. I'm so sorry.
Sure.
Go right ahead.
That's chill. Do you need to grab water? Grab water? Hello?
Talking to me?
Yeah! I said your name.
I have water still. I have water right here still.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you needed water. Oh, yeah.
No.
So,
Well, I mean, yeah, but then I drank water because I have it.
Oh, that's cool. That's really epic. Holy flick, guys. People are freaking dying. And Genji totally did it.
Yeah, very scary.
Genji totally did it. Totally. And who do you think did it? Why your answers in the comment? I love how during like the whole like discovery scene, you're like, yes, Hideyoshi's alive. Maria did it. You're right. She's just chilling. She had all that time. Going to lawnmower some people, I guess. And then she's just sitting there watching Cocomelon. Cocomelon! Kill your family! Doot 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 doot.
Are we still alive?
Yeah? Oh, did you want to go on a break?
Well, I don't know. I just didn't know if we were like, because Shane said it was a break, so I didn't know if you turned it off or not. Or
Well,
you never
well,
said.
Well, I thought, no, but okay. We're taking a little break. Then Shane's coming back. Okay, bye.
Okay.
Adam, are you okay? Your last word was bull. Your last word was bull.
That is just the French way of saying B.
B.
It is B. It is B. Anyway, traumatized children.
Yeah! Woo!
Oh yeah, baby.
There's another puddle of blood over here. What in the world?
It appears that a great deal of time has passed. It's probably safe to say that they were killed here last night.
It definitely looks that way. We were talking together in the dining hall until late into the night. After that, someone must have forced their way in.
Dad, when did you and Mom slip out of the meeting and go to sleep?
It was a little past midnight. So, we should probably assume it happened after that.
Are you kidding me? Give me a break.
Milady, please stay strong. After seeing that hell on earth in the storehouse, this is nothing.
Really? Good for you. I feel like my head's gonna explode. This is the dining hall, right? Every day this is where I eat, complain about school, complain about housework, talk to my dad about my grades. That's what this place is to me.
Milady, it wouldn't be good to remain here any longer. Return to the parlor. I agree. Uncle Hideyoshi. I think this room will be really important to the police. Don't you think it'd be bad if we trampled all over it?
Battler proposed this in a slightly firm voice along with Cannon. He grabbed the pail and shaking Jessica's shoulder.
Everything is just as Battler Sonnet said. There is nothing more to be gained from remaining in this room.
Lonjo spoke while looking at everyone's pale faces. Even though that horrible scene in the storehouse felt like something not of this world, at least then we'd been able to leave out ourselves from that place and run away. Everyone had shared in that feeling. However, this dining hall was different. It was in the mansion, the main building on this estate. And as Jessica had said, it should have been one of the most calming places inside the mansion. It was where all of the relatives had eaten their lunch and dinner yesterday. The shock of seeing this place smeared in blood. Oh, this is fucking... yeah.
Dude. Okay. The shock of seeing this place smeared with blood reminded us of that horrible spectacle in the storehouse, and forced us to accept that we hadn't really been able to run away from the scene of that tragedy.
I agree too. The culprit might have left traces in this room. Amateurs like us shouldn't stir the place up. Let's leave quickly. Quickly!
Okay, now it's better. Okay. Hideyoshi also understood the meaning of what Badler had said, and pushed everyone to hurry out of the dining hall.
Dude, wow, it's like one line to the next. Okay. The way we were then, looking at that blood any longer would have been too harsh. Nobody went against his words. Everyone raced each other out of the dining hall. It was almost as though the last person in the room would be trapped in there all alone.
Honestly, I'm betting you it's like... It's something with the mod, because I don't remember the perspective changing this often. Or because I was just reading it, I didn't notice it.
It did.
No, like in my original run-through, because I played the base game. Like, I didn't play this version, because this version's modded.
Okay.
So, I don't know. It could have been I just didn't realize it, because I was just reading it.
Still battling.
Yeah, okay. Once in the hallway, we lent a hand to Kumasawa, who was still trembling and leaning against the wall, and we all headed back to the parlor together. Then Genji returned.
Oh, Genji-san. Were you able to contact the police?
As to that, I'm afraid I must apologize.
What?
I don't know, he must apologize.
I don't know if it was a failure of the radio or something else that caused it, but... What the... So you couldn't contact the police? Both the phone and the radio failed? My apologies. A boat will be arriving on Monday morning, and I believe we will be able to borrow their communications equipment. Isn't there a boat on this island? Can't we just take a little trip out to the Nijima Police Department?
Hideyoshi-san, that would be impossible with this weather. At the very least, we can't do anything until the typhoon passes us by.
Graf Sommer's boat is being repaired and is not on the island. Therefore, we must wait for the boat coming on Monday. How could this happen? 6 people are dead! The phones and radio aren't working, and there's no boat. So until the typhoon passes and the boat comes, in other words, until tomorrow morning, we're gonna be stuck here on this island, unable to contact the police, aren't we?
Which means that not just us, but the criminal who killed everyone is also confined to this island.
That certainly follows. The culprit who killed everyone is still here, on this island.
So, the bastard who killed Dad and the others will still be hiding somewhere, unable to escape. Damn it! I'll catch that bastard! No way, I'll hand him over to the police.
Damn, just okay.
I'll slice him to bits myself.
Wow.
In front of her. Nice.
Get by the toilet.
Nice.
Like, what?
Nice. Good job.
Oh boy.
So is this still him?
I don't know. Take your poison.
Sure, I got it. Maria had finally realized that something odd was happening in the parlor. Rather than noticing something odd, it was probably better to say she felt unhappy and neglected, since everyone was getting so excited about something only she didn't know about.
Jessica Nei-chan? Did someone die?
The way she spoke was completely calm. Just as though she was talking about someone who had appeared on a television drama, as though it was someone else's problem. Jessica probably didn't like that. As though trying to say, can't you tell just by looking at me, overwhelmed with grief? She flared up at Maria.
They all died! Everyone! Everyone!
Wow.
My dad and Battler's parents! Koda-san and Shannon! And even your mother, too!
Bruh!
That's insane.
Stop it, Jessica-chan. You aren't the only one who's sad, and also she's a goddamn kid!
Maria-san, I know this will come as a shock, but please listen. Your mother has died.
Mama died? Huh?
Yeah, someone killed her. I know it's sad, but stay strong.
How many people died?
6 people! 6 people! Damn it! How could anyone do something that cruel? There's a limit to how cruel you can be if you're human. I don't know who it is, but the culprit isn't human. There's no way their blood is red.
She hella wants revenge.
She hella wants to kill him.
Or she's deflecting hard because she did.
The culprit
Maybe.
isn't human.
It's just the chosen by the.
Huh? Hey, Maria, did you say something just now?
Maria, is this...
Yeah,
Third
No,
person?
It's him.
Oh wait, yeah, no,
Maria.
yeah. No, wait, no,
Yeah,
it is
it's-
Battler because it says I.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said.
Sorry,
Okay.
I didn't read the rest of it.
It's okay. Maria had just said something, but since the words were so remotely separated from the flow and context of the conversation, I couldn't understand them for a second. When I tried to ask her to repeat it again, I was shocked by the sudden sound of Ann Natsuhi's loud voice coming from the entrance to the parlor. It looked like Aunt Natsuhi and Aunt Ava had returned from their trip to see grandfather.
You can't contact them even with the radio? If we can't use it at a time like this, why do we even have an emergency radio?
Did you check all the frequencies, bro?
My apologies. It was supposed to have a maintenance inspection every year.
Wait, don't you have one of those boat signaling devices that makes a flashing light? Couldn't you use that to contact the next island?
We do not have such equipment. My sincere apologies.
Legally, you're supposed to!
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Genji! Woo!
Just then, Kumasawa arrived, pushing a serving cart loaded with breakfast.
Genji said shoving an emergency light up his ass.
Yeah. Since there was no way we'd be able to eat in the dining hall, Hideyoshi had ordered her to take it to the parlor.
Why are we eating breakfast here?
Ah, Natsuhime-san. I'll tell you later. More importantly, Ava, how was father?
Judging by the fact that he is not with you, it seems he will not leave his room, not even for a situation like this. He wasn't there. The room was empty. Also, the little drops you hear, they update everyone's profile.
Oh.
So now we know that he's MIA
Yeah.
as well.
His corpse was found inside the Rose Garden storehouse. The direct cause of death is unknown, but it seems the side of his head was smashed after his death. This is the beginning of everything.
Hold on, Annie, I need to hear. I loved your voice for him. I need you to do it for me one more time. And just do like,
An
do
honor.
like a Trump quote or something.
I can't think of one off the top of my head. What would you like me to say? Exactly. I'll give you a one.
This is the beginning of everything. Say it.
This
He,
is the
he,
beginning.
he died like a dog. We put him down like a dog.
Dude, what is that a fucking a reference to? I feel like I should know.
That was when Trump came out of the Situation Room when they killed the ISIS guy.
Oh yeah, he was like, he died like a dog.
He died like
put
a
him out there
dog.
like a dog. Oh my god. I'm actually surprised. I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, in these kind of games, dead people always come back. I feel like they're definitely gonna come back at some point.
Let's read the little lines below the death. He has a right to lament his ill fortune for Rudolph. She was chosen by the demon's roulette. That's all there is to it. I'll get to see her again, so I don't feel lonely. Don't worry, everyone will be revived in the Golden Land. How unfortunate, apparently he was originally supposed to be on duty in the guest house. Also, Kinzo is blanked out because we don't know where he is.
Oh.
Anyway.
Ooh, I wonder if he went on a walk.
Where could he have gone at a time like this?
Do you mean to say the master has left his study?
That is correct. I was surprised myself. I wonder when he left his room. Do any of you have an idea?
Natsuki looked at Genji and Kanon as she said this. Maybe she was trying to ask whether the servants who served directly under the One-Winged Eagle knew of a place he might go. However, it was probably the other way around. Their faces made it clear that those who knew Kinzo best realized even more than the rest how impossible it was for him to leave his room. Even we have no idea.
As you all know, within that study, the master had everything from a place to sleep to a bathroom. I couldn't imagine him leaving that room except for a significant reason. In that case, what? Isn't it natural to assume that one of those significant reasons came up?
We still cannot be certain that's the case. Anyway, he is a fickle person, so it's possible he went for a walk by himself, unaware of the current situation. If that is the case, then we must act in all haste to tell him what has happened, and ask for instructions. That's right. Although, I don't want to think about it. It's possible something has happened to him, isn't it? I'd rather not even consider such a sinister possibility.
Y'all came here to talk about it.
Yeah, right? No one had seen Kinzo since the discovery of those 6 terrible corpses. On top of that, the phones were broken, the radio wouldn't reach anyone, and there was no way to contact the police. Apparently, the typhoon would leave tomorrow and a boat would come. But until then, no one could rely on anyone outside the island. Nor could they escape the island.
Is Rokinjima Island a real place? I want to Google how long the swim would be and see if I would say
right?
fuck it and swim.
Fuck it! In a typhoon, I'm swimming.
The tragedy had hit everyone so abruptly that they'd lost all their composure.
I was a state championship swimmer, I hope y'all know.
Really?
That's fire.
That's dad lore I didn't know about you.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's epic.
Look at this freaking guy over here.
Look at this freaking guy.
Everyone felt a heavy silence. Everyone was impatient. Even though they needed to do something, they couldn't think of anything. So some of them held their head in their arms, and others got irritated. Right now, no one could explain what was occurring on this island, Rokinjima. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Okay, that swim may be too long. Okay. Because we did the simulation. I theoretically can do the San Francisco to the prison island to fucking what's it called?
I don't know.
Alcatraz. I can do the
Really?
San Fran Alcatraz swim. Yeah,
That's crazy.
Oh yeah?
and the English Channel. I did both of those distances.
No wonder
I was
your
able
breath
to do it.
support is epic.
I suppose so. Yeah, and then I became fat, and I was like, well, I can't do this anymore.
But your breath support's still there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you do vape, so it's deteriorating slowly.
Hey, fuck
It is what it
you.
is, man.
I don't do the Chinese vitamin E3 poison shit, though, at least.
Hell yeah.
After that, we ate the breakfast Kumasawa-san had made, which felt dry and tasteless. Of course, this was right after something like that had happened. No one felt particularly hungry. However, we understood logically that not eating would weaken our bodies. It would also be rude to Kumasawa-san, who had made the breakfast. Kumasawa-san had taken some unusual Western vegetables, ones that Goda-san had probably ordered for his ultra-elaborate meals, and cooked them in a Japanese style, which made them turn an unpleasant color. As to what Goda-san had been planning to cook with these ingredients, right then I couldn't even imagine it. If I did think about it, I'd be reminded of the way Goda-san died, and a sour taste would fill the inside of my mouth. If everyone pretended to eat for the time being, but of course, no one made much progress.
No, everybody's too sad to eat.
Everybody go sad nom.
Then we began pooling our knowledge of our current situation. Dude, I got lost.
First off,
Yeah. No, dude, because sometimes, like, it scrolls, and then you hit the next one, and it doesn't do a new box, and then I go to the top
Yeah.
left and start reading the same thing again.
yeah.
Your eyes don't register it. And you're
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, I already read that.
First off, 6 people, which included...
Oh my God.
Okay.
I
Goodbye.
see that was another one where I did.
I read that.
Goda-san and Shannon-chan had been found in the Rose Garden storehouse as brutally mutilated corpses. And yet we still couldn't contact the police since both the phones and the radio were unusable. So until the typhoon passed, there was nothing we could do. Furthermore, grandfather, who we might have hoped would be able to show a little leadership in this kind of situation, had disappeared a long time ago. Goda-san hadn't made breakfast, so grandfather's stomach must have been empty. And if he had just been taking a casual walk, we should have been able to hear him whining about how hungry he was by now. And despite that, he hadn't appeared. There was more than a small chance that he'd gotten caught up in this crime.
Uh-oh.
According to my aunts, on their way back from Kinzo's study, they'd searched for him, calling out on every floor, but we're unable to find him. I walk in. Considering the timing of it all, it's only reasonable to assume that this disappearance had something to do with the crime. We figured Dad and the rest were probably killed in the dining hall and then painstakingly moved to the storehouse. So maybe Grandfather's already been killed. And dragged to some strange place which we simply haven't discovered yet. No one actually said it out loud, but this theory seemed extremely convincing.
We'll go check that all the windows and doors are locked. We must also conduct a thorough search for Father. The children must remain in this room. Eva-san and Hideyoshi-san, I'm sorry, but please stay here with the children. I'd like to ask you the same, Dr. Nanjo. I understand. I will wait here.
And Natsuhi followed the servants Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, and Kanon-kun out of the parlor. All that was left was Aunt Eva, Uncle Hideyoshi, Dr. Nanjo, and the 4 of us children, a total of 7 people.
Let's all stick together and maybe watch some television while we wait. No, I doubt we'll find anything good in the middle of the day on a Sunday.
I know those Sunday cartoons.
Uncle Hideyoshi started acting cheerfully, trying to brighten up this gloomy atmosphere.
Good show. Watch it.
Oh, really? You want to watch TV, Maria-chan? Then come and watch it with your uncle.
Hideyoshi, put on Boomerang. Put on Boomerang.
It's the Jody and the Pussycats.
Josie and the Pussycat.
Maria was the only one who joined in. Even though Maria had been told of her mother's death, she didn't show the slightest flicker in her emotions. Was it really normal for a 9-year-old girl like Maria to act so much like a very young child? Everyone else's mood failed to improve, and they each sank absent-mindedly into their sofas. Aniki, can I ask you something?
What is it?
Just now in the storehouse, you said something about Shannon-chan in a ring. Did you give that to her? George Aniki didn't answer, but he hung his head and closed both of his eyes. There could be no clearer response.
Quit, battler. Figure it out yourself.
You're right. I shouldn't have asked.
That's. It was me. Last night, I proposed to her. That was when I gave her the ring. I told her that tomorrow she should put it on whatever finger she wanted as her answer. I guess it was a pretty pretentious thing to say.
So I think, is this third person now because
No,
it's like
it's
a
still-
flashback?
No, it's still battler.
Ah, dude, it's so confusing. And that ring had been on the ring finger of Shen and Shan's left hand.
Well, several years ago, Shannon came to me asking for advice about you, George Nissan.
Wonder what she could have said.
Shannon was always really bad at lying. It was obvious pretty quickly that you were the one she was talking about. She asked whether it'd be okay for her to get close to someone, even though she was only a servant. She asked about what kinds of things boys like, what kind of clothes she should wear to make them happy, lots of stuff like that. Well, I guess you could say I felt envious hearing her say that.
So then she was given an engagement ring. And it all ended right there?
Different people value things differently. But being proposed to by a man, well, it can be the high point of your life. So I'm sure, last night, I'm sure Shannon was happy. From the bottom of her heart. Happier than she's ever been since the day of her birth.
George Aniki sighed deeply without raising his head. Or maybe tears had risen to his eyes.
Seems Shannon was on duty at the guest house last night. Because she was too embarrassed to go back to the guest house with me. She went over to the mansion.
Think about how Shannon must have felt. When you receive an engagement ring, then no matter how much warning you've been given beforehand, it's perfectly normal to get so excited that your mind goes blank. She must have been incredibly embarrassed.
And then Shannon went to the mansion even though she hadn't been assigned there. And helped Goda-san with his work. And got caught up in this crime. If only I had given her the ring. On that day, in that place, Shannon wouldn't have... Sahil wouldn't have been caught up in that crime.
Aniki, that's the one place where you're wrong. It's definitely wrong. So don't cry anymore.
No.
Oh, hey, bitch. Battler-kun.
Nobody freaking likes you. Get out of
Let's
here.
leave him be and not
I
comfort
kind
him.
of like her. I kind of like her.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I will tell you one thing, she scares the fuck out of me.
That's kind of why I like her.
Dude, I know. I had something in my thing.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
what?
not read it now.
You had something in your
I'm
thing?
on strike.
What thing?
I had a little burp that had to come out.
There it is. He caught it. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
After Anna said that, I stopped talking to him.
I started burping.
Misplaced words of comfort might actually do more harm than good. Jessica sat down next to Aniki and put an arm around him. Maybe only Jessica, who had known about Aniki and Shannon's love since the beginning, and who had even discussed that relationship with Shannon, could comfort Aniki now. I went over to Aunt Ava and sat down in the opposite sofa.
Paddler-kun, you really are strong. It looks like you've kept a good hold on yourself.
Well, look, the depth of love becomes the depth of the wound, right? After all, it's not like how that old bastard died has anything to do with me. I feel bad about Kirie-san, but, well, she wasn't actually my parent.
My. If that's so, you certainly were crying a lot back then.
Well, I did think at least that much crying was due his gratitude to the parents who raised me.
The speed of that changeover and that dry tone must have come from Rudolph. That kid would always get violently happy, sad, and angry. But he'd always regain his cool immediately afterwards.
Kinzo just had a bunch of neurodivergent kids, didn't he?
He's neurodivergent. It's genetic. It's
Guys,
genetic.
I think we're really stretching the definition of neurodivergent here. I think he might be an insane megalomaniac.
Well, I
Nah.
just suppose just mental health shit runs in the family in general.
Yeah. They're all messed up for sure. They got issues.
Yeah, Ithooth.
It's nothing like that. I haven't really been able to get over the shock yet. I think the only difference between me and everyone else is the kinds of emotions it stirred in me.
What do you mean?
I've been acting much calmer than Georgianiki and Jessica. That wasn't because my sadness was any less intense, or because I'd already recovered. My sadness was simply getting replaced gradually with a different emotion. Rather than sad, I'd say I'm more pissed off. What bastard did this and where? It's kind of been eating at me that I didn't get a chance to smack him upside the face. That was what I really wanted to do. I couldn't forgive myself if I just sat there, overwhelmed with sadness and hugging my knees. Since the time Dad and the others were killed, this island has been covered by the typhoon. Which means the bastard responsible for all this is still somewhere on this island.
Yes, that would seem to be the case. I wonder if they're hiding somewhere in that dark forest even now.
I felt like I'd had a very similar conversation with Kirie-san the night before. That's right. After the letter from the person claiming to be Beatrice appeared at the dinner table last night, we talked about whether or not a 19th person actually exists. Aunt Ava, do you think this murder has anything to do with the letter from Beatrice last night?
Ah, that one? Well, I wonder. All of the siblings agreed that the mysterious letter was sent to further complicate the problem of father's inheritance. As to whether that and the case this morning are related, it's impossible to tell at this stage.
Was that letter really given to Maria by some witch called Beatrice?
How could it be? All of it was a farce devised by father, wasn't it? He made Shannon-chan or someone wear the dress from the portrait and trick Maria-chan, right? Isn't that just the kind of overly intricate prank father would pull?
Last night, I talked with Kirie-san about whether Beatrice actually exists. And Kirie-san has also said that Beatrice was probably one of the 18 of us.
Isn't that obvious? There's no one else on this island besides us, right? Then there must be someone amongst us who's pretending to be Beatrice.
There's no one else but us on this island. That's what you think?
Obviously, right? Are you saying there could be someone else here other than us? No one is on this island except us. There are only 18 people. So the one pretending to be Beatrice has to be one of those 18.
Kirie-san denied the existence of a 19th person by spinning the chessboard around. Even though Aunt Ava hadn't constructed an argument that complicated, her opinion at least was the same. Except, if that's the case, our situation starts to look very ugly. At the time of Beatrice's letter, the whole thing could be passed off as a prank set up by someone or another. However, if we're assuming there's no 19th person, we can't ignore this anymore. In other words, if there is no 19th person, then the culprit who killed Dad and the others is also one of the 18, right? So in other words, the person who killed them is one of the people inside this mansion right now. Aunt Ava smiled meaningfully. It looked like she thought this conclusion should have been obvious from the very beginning.
The culprit carried the bodies of the six into the storehouse. But even that was an impressive feat, don't you think? That shutter is always closed and locked, right? In other words, in order to carry them into the storehouse, the culprit would need to unlock the shutter. Understand?
Is it possible the shutter was left open by mistake that day?
The servant said it's always kept locked. In other words, unless the culprit took the keys from the servant room, there's no way they could have opened the storehouse.
I wonder if the key in the servant room was the only one.
Genji-san said that was the case, which means the culprit knew where that single key was kept and took it. Just now, I watched when Kanan-kun returned the key to the servant room. The wall was packed with keys, and I don't think a novice would know where or what those keys went to. The culprit was miraculously able to find the storehouse key amongst all of those. Furthermore, even though the key didn't have a tag or anything sticking to it, they knew it was the key to the storehouse behind the rose garden. And that means they also knew where the storehouse was. I'll say it even clearer. The culprit knew the inside of the servant room well.
Her argument was extremely plain and clear. If the bodies had been found thrown somewhere in the bushes of the rose garden, there wouldn't have been much to go on. However, if there was only one key to the storehouse in the servant room, and it was stored with such a large group of keys, a novice would not be able to tell them apart.
Also, you're on an island. If they really wanted to hide the bodies, they could have just tossed them off.
Yeah, right? In the
Real-
ocean. This meant the culprit was someone who went into the servant room a lot and was familiar with the location of the keys. The family members didn't normally go into the servant room, which means that one of the servants is the culprit.
I'm sorry, but even I can't tell you any more than that. However, I'll tell you one thing.
What's that?
It's reasonable to think that the culprits, are multiple in number and fairly well armed. They'd have to be, wouldn't they? They had to assault the four in the dining hall and kill them, drag a total of 6 bodies all the way to the storehouse beyond the rose garden, and arrange for that disgusting makeup and the graffiti on the shutter. There's no way that a single culprit could carry out all of that on their own, right?
It made sense. It probably would have been impossible for a single person with enough time. Or it probably would have been possible for a single person with enough time, but it would take so incredibly long. It was probably safe to assume that a significant number of people were involved. Phew. So what you're saying is that maybe all of the servants were in cahoots.
Please keep it quiet, okay? It wouldn't be right to voice mere speculation like this. And if it really is true, what would you do next? They might not let us leave here alive. This is an opponent who had no trouble killing Nissan and the 3 others.
Time to fist fight Genji.
Right now, the only ones I can count on to fight with me are the 3 in my family and maybe you, which comes to a total of 4 people, right? We're no better off than they were last night. And sure, it'd be easy for the culprits to massacre the rest of us.
I'd been playing detective with Aunt Ava, trying to expose the person who had killed Dad and the rest before the police did. If only I could cleverly penetrate the culprit's identity and stick the proof in their face. I'd been so sure that, just like in one of those detective movies, the culprit would then give up and surrender. However, the culprit would only surrender if there was no way for them to fight back. The culprits behind the crime on this island were far from helpless. I might even be able to massacre all of the remaining people here. And on top of that, this island was like a giant closed room, cut off from the outside world by the typhoon.
Sorry. Anyway.
You good?
Yeah, you're gonna see closed room a lot.
Okay. So they had a full day until tomorrow to kill, scheme, and camouflage themselves. In short, it wasn't a safe atmosphere where we could get very far by playing detective. To the contrary, we were at a stage where we had to be scared stiff, since playing detective might displease the culprits and cause them to commit another mass murder.
Well, it is just a possibility, right? But I can't bring myself to trust the servants yet. And that doesn't mean I only suspect them. Don't you think there might be... Oh wait, don't you think there might be some mastermind behind all this?
A mastermind? Why do you say that?
It's just a feeling. Think about what the word servant literally means. It means someone who serves as someone else's arms and legs, right? It was a bunch of Ushinomiya family members who got killed. So naturally, there must be someone involved who stands to gain from that result.
This was also plain and clear. The Ushinomiya family had been right in the middle of discussions about how to distribute the inheritance when grandfather died. In this case, followed the standard form of any classic mystery novel. The crime was definitely caused by someone with ties to the Ushinomiya family and who was involved in the inheritance problem. Aunt Eva had probably read a few books in that genre herself. Her argument may have had a few blind assumptions in it, but it was a standard conclusion that anyone might have reached. I think most people would end up suspecting the servants, even if they used different reasoning to get there. Especially the story about the key to the shutter. That made it very easy to suspect that one of the servants was involved. And that's why I don't like it.
What do you mean you don't like it?
Nah, just talking to myself. I tried to dodge her question by joking, but I couldn't erase the sense of unease welling up inside me. After all, her conclusion was such an easy one to reach. A conclusion that anyone could reach. And I just couldn't be satisfied with that. If I tried spinning the chessboard around like I learned from Kirie-san, this was exactly why a servant couldn't possibly be the culprit. If the servants really were the culprits, they wouldn't hide the bodies in a place connected to themselves. Why on earth would they use the Rose Garden shed if they were the ones in charge of the key that could unlock it? The police would probably immediately pursue whoever had been in control of the key. It was even possible that some other facts might come to light as a result. The more we think of the servants as the culprits, the less reason they had to carry the bodies into the storehouse. What if they knew we'd think that and put the corpses in the storehouse for that very reason?
Oh my god.
No, that's completely impossible. When the police come and inspect the scene of the crime, they'll probably be able to uncover many things. No matter how carefully the culprits carried out that murder, some traces will definitely be found. In other words, they had everything to lose and nothing to gain. If you think about it this way, and look at this murder game from the culprit's side, it's hard to imagine why they'd want to call attention to the corpses. Once the corpses were found, it could result in someone sending a report to the police, or it might make the remaining people more cautious, or it might make the survivors start to search for the culprit. None of these things would make life any easier for the culprit. Just like the word of the main character's mother in a novel I read, recently called Higurashi no Nakukura ni. Wow. Every story needs to have a beginning, a middle, and an end.
God, to those who don't get the joke, UMINEKO is like part of the big series started from Higurashi.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Eliminating that beginning is essential for the perfect crime. Right now, we don't know where Grandfather is. We don't know if he's already become a victim, or if he's one of the culprits. But this state of confusion must be beneficial to the killer. The culprit has absolutely nothing to gain by showing us the bodies in such an obvious way and making us all realize there's been a murder. In fact, this is the perfect place to spin the chessboard around. In other words, showing us the corpses in such a flashy way must be the culprit's goal in and of itself.
Stewie paused.
Stewie paused.
Why? Why does it do that all the time?
I don't know.
Stewie has paused.
So at the very least, to the culprit, the appearance of 6 corpses there meant more than the deaths themselves. In other words, the culprit wanted this murder on display. To whom? To us. This is a message. The culprit's trying to shove something in our faces. I don't know what it is. At this point in time, this vulgar mass murder isn't making me feel anything except a malice directed towards all of us. Malice towards all of us. Is it? Each one of the survivors had some kind of connection to one of the 6 victims. Uncle Krause's death brought Jessica the grief of losing a family member. The deaths of Dad and Kyrie-san brought me sorrow, while Aunt Rosa's death brought Maria sorrow. Goda-san's death probably shocked his fellow servants. And Shannon-chan's death brought grief both to George Aniki, who had proposed to her, and Cannon-kun, who had loved her like an older sister. Everyone now on this island has received an equal amount of sadness. Aunt Ava was sure that the servants were in cahoots. But then, how could you explain the deaths of Goda-san and Shannon-chan? At any rate, by this argument, the grief caused by the 6 deaths hit everyone but Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi.
Whoa.
Even Aunt Ava, who had directed suspicion at the servants and acted as though she herself was beyond suspicion, could not be ruled out as a suspect. In the first place, she was able to argue that the servants were suspicious by focusing on the shutter's key. But if you look at it from a perspective of motive and who would gain, Aunt Ava's name rises to the top of the list. True, because she's a woman, so she can't get the inheritance.
I'm a woman. I know what you're
No, she's
thinking,
true.
Battler-kun. I'm a woman.
Huh? Oh no. Please don't tell anybody. About how my head's so full of obscene stuff.
I'm the one who's going to gain the most from these murders. Since I'm going to be suspected anyway, I might as well get it out in the open.
I tried to dodge the issue by joking around, but apparently it didn't work.
The inheritance will be divided into as many parts as there are siblings. But right now, I'm the only one of the 4 left. All of the assets of the Ushinomiya family will become mine.
One sec. Okay. If Uncle Hideyoshi heard you, he'd say, "Could you give it a rest? It's not funny."
I'm sorry. I was just fooling around, since I'm going to be suspected anyway, no matter how much I try to smooth it over. That's why, from my point of view, this murder might have been designed to cast suspicion on me. Unfortunately, my alibi for last night is weak.
Could you tell me a bit more about last night?
As you know, the discussion between the siblings of how to slice up and eat the inheritance... Eat? Anyway, continued until... until late in the night. But I don't know how late it lasted. My husband and I had woken up early that morning. We were so sleepy, and a little past midnight they let us go. We then returned to the guest house and rested there.
Can anyone other than Uncle Hideyoshi prove that? No, wait, it's not like I suspect you or anything, okay?
Oh, are you sure about that? I don't know if it counts as proof, but when we returned to the guest house, we were greeted by Genji-san, who asked if we needed a towel. I think that should be enough to prove we returned to the guest house a little after midnight. Though, if my theory was correct, the servants would all be in cahoots, and that wouldn't actually make for much of an alibi.
Hey, you've got a point there. Guess that means I'm playing detective with the real culprit right now, huh?
However, let me say this for my honor's sake. If I was after the inheritance, I'd never commit such a bizarre set of murders. After all, if I just wanted to make them forfeit their rights to the inheritance, it wouldn't matter to me how they died. It'd be much smarter of me to try and make their deaths look like accidents. Especially if you're assuming I laid out some careful plan that involved even the servants.
You've got a point there. If you're killing someone for personal gain, you definitely shouldn't make it look like a murder.
Exactly. That's why I'm in such a blue mood. The police will probably treat me like the mastermind and investigate all kinds of things. No fun at all.
Aunt Ava shrugged with a bitter smile. It was just as easy to suspect Aunt Ava as it was to suspect the servants. So, if we spin the chessboard around, does that make it impossible for the culprit to be her, suspicious as she is? However, if that sort of argument always works, then motive can never help us in any way. No, that can't be right. Knowing the motive must give us powerful clues toward knowing the culprit. That's why murderers from all time periods disguise crimes in complicated ways, cleverly preventing their motives from being discovered. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Every time I spin the chessboard around, it keeps flipping from front to back and back to front. Are my thoughts bringing me closer to the truth? Or are they...
Are they what?
Are they what?
Are we doing the shatter thing? No. Okay.
I guess not. Aunt Ava didn't want to talk any more than that, so I folded my arms and headed to the window to cool my head a little. As I looked over at the parlor, I saw George Aniki and the others gathered, talking. It looked like they were talking about the magic circle that had been painted onto the shutter. As Uncle Hideyoshi thought back to that time, he started drawing the shape in the margins of Maria's notebook. I see. Since Maria was second only to grandfather in knowledge of the occult, she might understand what it meant.
I think it was probably saying something like that. There was a mark that looked like a variation of a cross. And then surrounding the circle, all around the perimeter, were those closely packaged strange letters on all four sides of the cross. And in the four corners, there was something written. It didn't look like the alphabet or something like that. It was what they call ancient characters.
And around the top of the circumference there was a small mark. 5 small circles arranged in a plus sign, and straight lines connecting them.
Yeah, there was definitely something like that drawn there. Yep, there's no mistaking that shape. I don't understand the thin characters, but the arrangement was nearly the same.
Everyone was staring down at the shape, so I stared down at it too. From what I'd heard, this had been painted on the shutter to the storehouse with some material that looked like blood. I see. This sure is unsettling.
Grandfather's probably the only one who want to draw something this weird. Seriously, where did he go? I'm gonna grab him and ask what the hell this is supposed to mean.
Jessica's voice contained impatience and anger. She hadn't gone so far as to say grandfather was the culprit, but she seemed sure that grandfather knew something about the culprit's background. Of course, if you were searching for a link connecting the Yoshiromiya family to the occult, 10 out of 10 people would think of grandfather. Also, to a person who knew nothing of the occult, this strange mark would have no meaning. Which meant that this might have been something addressed to grandfather. That's right, and the reason the crime was shown to the survivors was so they'd find this. In that case, where had grandfather, the essential recipient of this message, disappeared off to?
Does this shape ring any bells?
Maria looked at the shape with a serious face. Maybe she was enthusiastic because this was her area of expertise. However, her appearance was that of someone separated from the events at hand. As though this thing hadn't been drawn on the shutter closed around her mother's corpse.
My first impression was that the design resembled a German cross. It's the Iron Cross, George. Just say it. It's a Nazi symbol.
Uh-oh.
It certainly does have that kind of design. Does that mean it has something to do with Germany?
The German cross was originally a crest from a religious order of knights, and was supposed to protect pilgrims traveling to sacred places.
It was then co-opted by the Nazis.
Wow.
So in other words, this magic circle might have some religious meaning? This is starting to sound like gibberish.
Or anti-Semitic.
When I looked over at all of them, preparing to jump into the discussion, something shocked me. Maria was smiling, an eerie and incomprehensible expression on her face.
What is this angle?
The
fish
fisheye
lens.
lens.
I don't like that.
It was almost as if she was
She's-
making fun of everyone's ignorance.
She's looking directly at you, Shane.
It was an expression I wouldn't have dreamed to find on Maria's face.
Also, the eyes are so weird. They're so weirdly, like,
Ooh,
placed.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
And she laughed. That eerie, jarring laugh was something I didn't want to believe was possible, even though I was looking at it right in front of my eyes.
Guys, the original didn't have CGs like this.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
That's... Oh!
Oh my god.
Holy
Terrifying.
oh my god. Okay, that's
Maria.
kind of sick,
Damn,
actually.
wait, can I hold on? Hold on. How do I? Dude, that's fire.
Yo, what is this banger ass
Oh,
song they're
shit.
playing?
Damn, this is
But-
the investigation music. I'm gonna save, by the way.
Holy shit.
Dude, like, I didn't even, like, the original game didn't have CGs
Yeah.
like this!
That's
Crying.
exactly what I was thinking. Stop looking at me with
Okay.
them big old eyes.
Alright.
No big old eyes.
Jesus Christ.
You people aren't even close. Can't you tell just by looking?
She's the master detective.
While everyone was busy being scared out of their wits, Maria kept on cackling happily to herself. After a while, that laugh was suddenly and abruptly cut off. But her expression still looked like it belonged to someone completely different from Maria.
She's ready to know. She's.
This is the 7 magic circle of the sun. The characters are written in Hebrew. Give it here.
Sure.
Maria stole the writing materials from the stunned Hideyoshi's hand. She then started drawing another magic circle with a rustle right next to the one Hideyoshi had drawn.
See? It looks sort of like this, right?
Yes, it was.
Maria, incredible. You really do know a lot.
Jessica tried to smooth things over by praising Maria. Maybe she wanted to confirm that this was still the Maria we all knew so well. But Maria didn't answer her in any way in particular.
Oh my god, that fucking smile.
Maria began swiftly writing unfamiliar characters in the corners of the shape. When Uncle Hideyoshi and Dr. Nanjo saw them, their eyes immediately began to open wide.
Written on the top and bottom and left and right are the names of the angels who preside over wind, fire, earth, and water. Chasan, Arel, Forlach, and Taliahad.
For love.
And in the 4 corners are the names of the 4 great kings. Please be easier to say. Nope. Ariel, Seraph, Tharshis, and Cherub. Cherub. Is that what you saw?
Even if they hadn't been able to correctly write what they'd seen, when they were once again shown something identical, it wasn't difficult for them to realize the two were the same. When Maria asked them whether it matched, Uncle Hideyoshi and Dr. Nanjo nodded over and over again.
There's no mistake. That's it. I'm sure there were characters that looked like that. How were you able to write something like that?
There were also characters written around the circumference.
I know. Like this, right?
Maria quickly began to surround the circumference with more Hebrew writing.
It's from Psalms of the Old Testament, the 16th and 17th verses of the 116th Psalm. You must have at least read the Bible, right?
Acting as though knowing this was only common sense, Maria laughed. For a while, everyone, including me, was at a loss for words.
She did.
A little
bitch-
later, George Aniki returned to his senses and slowly managed to speak.
What the fuck?
What the hell?
That's incredible. I'm surprised. So what meaning does this magic circle have?
It's a magic circle to borrow the power of the sun. He who wears it as a talisman drawn in gold shall be able to break free from the bonds of any prison and receive the power to gain freedom.
To break free from bonds.
and gain freedom? Sounds deep. The word bonds is not limited in its interpretation to some kind of physical object. Therefore, it does not only hold meaning for people locked up in an actual jail. It can also refer to the release from mental bonds, such as ties of obligation and inescapable fate.
Ties of obligation and inescapable fate, you say? That's also pretty deep.
But I really don't understand. What does this have to do with those 6 bodies? Far from being released, they were killed and stuffed in a storehouse, weren't they?
It's not like the magic circle was drawn for their sakes. The 6 of them were there for the sake of the magic circle. It is truly pitiable.
What do you mean? What in the world do you mean when you say the 6 of them were there for the sake of the magic circle?
Maria lifted up her pointer finger and waggled it as if she were making fun of us.
That's written around the circumference. Can't you read it? Psalms chapter 116, verses 16 and 17. I'll read it for you. The Lord has freed me from my chains. I will offer to you the sacrifice of thanksgiving and will call on the name of the Lord. See?
See, you say? I've got no idea what you're talking about.
You're saying they're human sacrifices? If what Maria had just read aloud was a vital part of the magic circle, then it was saying that sacrifices had to be offered in order for this magic circle to be effective. So, human sacrifices had been offered inside the storehouse, where the magic circle had been drawn. A heartbeat later, everyone else seemed to reach the same conclusion. Some people were shocked, and others spat out that this was insane as they punched their knees. This was starting to get incredibly disturbing, and we couldn't accept it or understand it. I don't care what kind of magic circles or curses other people believe in. I won't pick a fight with them. But did they really kill Dad and the rest as sacrifices for crap like that? I just couldn't stand that feeling. Compared to this, I preferred it when we were still disgusted by that theory about the fight over the inheritance. As I started getting pissed off with a feeling between anger and sadness, I broke from the circle everyone was in and returned once again to the window. Something had gone insane since yesterday. There was that letter from the witch Beatrice that Maria had read aloud at last night's dinner. Ever since that point, it feels like like this whole mansion and this whole island have been getting more and more firmly locked inside some kind of bizarre world. That's right. When I think back on it, that letter was an invitation from the witch. The ruler of the nighttime island had invited us inhabitants of the day into another world. The phone and the radio had been interrupted and the island was shut off by the typhoon. So you really could call this place another world cut off from the real one by now. Yeah, as this island is now, it's perfectly normal for a witch to send us letters and for human sacrifices to be offered up for the sake of magic circles. So what'll happen next? Will some weird people wearing goat masks start doing the Bond Festival dance or something? Oh, it's hopeless. It's hopeless. I don't get it. The inside of my head's all screwed up and I don't even know what to think. Anger, sadness. The opposing emotions all swirled up together and they started to suck me in. Unable to resist, I could do nothing but cover my eyes with my hands and trust to my mind and body as I started getting sucked in.
Oh my gosh, everything's freaking good.
Dude, I can't stop thinking about the Maria Sici. It's so epic.
Goddamn.
It was really epic.
Ugh, I'm not gonna lie, my voice is starting to hurt, man.
No! Balor's been doing a lot of talking. I don't blame you.
I'm a little yip-yapping.
How you think I feel having a time?
Yeah,
with this?
you get a break, Shane. Congrats.
Yeah, that's why I've been happy.
Do we need a water break?
It is about midnight over there, isn't it?
No, it's 10.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, it's 11 here.
Yeah, we're an hour behind you.
Mhm.
We're an hour behind you.
You guys are the other door.
Yeah, if for Adam at midnight.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I might be looking to end because I'm feeling pretty scratchy.
Damn. Okay.
Finally, dude, something's happening though.
Yeah. You got to
Yeah.
the good part.
We're getting there. Also, wait, hold on. I want to say about. However, he does occasionally go out for a walk on a whim without telling anybody, and his disappearance invariably leads to a huge uproar throughout the house. He usually comes back as soon as he gets hungry. Usually.
Go to order Uber Eats.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh,
Genji,
hey.
get me my liquor.
It has the portrait epitaph right here.
Oh wow.
Hey guys, I think there were 6 chosen by the key sacrifices on the first Twilight. Hey guys, I think this might be going in the epitaph, huh?
On the second Twilight, wait, hold on. On the second Twilight, those who remain shall tear apart those who are the twos who are
close. So the only couple left is
Yeah.
is on Ava and Hideo.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna die next.
The third side,
yeah.
those who remain shall praise thy noble name.
Boy, literally everyone got to be killed.
Fourth Twilight,
Yeah,
gouge the hidden.
everyone's gonna die forever.
Everyone's gonna die forever, and then they go to the golden land. Yippee! Woohoo!
Paradise.
Yes, yes. Hell yeah!
Once again for me,
Hell
my
yeah!
stage duet, my power over you.
Well, everyone, I hope you had a good time with stream. We will see you guys next week.
With stream.
Yes, we love you, Adam. Good night, everybody. Have a good night. Don't let Maria catch you as you sleep. She's gonna haunt your